This podcast features adults using adult language, so listener discretion is advised. The Legend of Zelda is property of Nintendo, while Dungeons & Dragons is property of Wizards of the Coast. We are sponsored by neither, and this is a homebrew game played for fun by folks who are fans of both. But now, without further ado, let us continue tales of danger, determination and adventure in Hyrule Chronicles. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles Legend of Zelda D&D. I am the GM Articulate T, and with me today, as always, I have Renji Vox, being played by the Netherlad.
Bonsoir.
I have Hikan Sio, being played by Avrdal.
Hello.
I have Zayden Shari, being played by Robopart.
Howdy.
I have Max, being played by Keystruth.
What's up?
Yeah, excellent. So, a bit of housekeeping. Due to technical difficulties in this particular podcast, or this particular thing, day, I have been unable to stream because my usual solution has decided to have problems on this day, and my normal internet is not fast enough in order for me to stream anything. So, for those wanting to see the stream, feel free to go over to twitch.tv/Alvarance in order to see the stream on that end. In regards to YouTube stuff on my end, I will get around to a certain point where I'll just upload an audio podcast version of it onto my YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast version on SoundCloud, then you probably haven't noticed anything different. So congrats to you. But today is episode 59. And
For real this time.
For real this time.
The real 59.
It almost wasn't, because until it was pointed out to me earlier, I almost made it episode 58 again.
And 57.
And 57 before that.
We're gradually going back further and further in time.
Mathematical.
But yes, so before we continue on with the session today, what happened last time, friends?
Well, last time on Hyrule Chronicles, episode 58, we had just managed to secure a celestial being from the clutches of a sculpture. There was quite a bit of time before this person could be roused from slumber, but as he did, he introduced himself as Artismal. Apparently he is out of magic or whatever he is powered by, and we decided to bring him down from the mountain to Zora's domain. However, as we descended the mountain, there was some other point of business to be concluded. In fact, there was a dragon living on the mountain, and Max also wanted to talk with the creature. Then again, Renji did too, so we, specifically Renji and Zayden, accompanied Max to talk to the big flying lizard. We had quite a interesting conversation. There was much gleaned from it. It turns out that if you want to talk and you manage to have just eradicated basically everyone from the house or the domain of a dragon, they are willing to talk to you and answer some questions. Anyway, with that out of the way, we descended down into Zora's domain. We talked to the guards into letting us go into Zora's domain, as it was already nighttime. And this does have the added effect that Renji will most likely have to give a report to, the leaders of the domain tomorrow morning. Also, after that specifically happened, Hikan went out on the town in order to talk to some holy men to try and see what could be done to help our new friend, Artismal the Celestial.
Indeed. So, we once again find ourselves back in Zora's domain, and we rejoin Hikan on his efforts to find a holy person, having just spoken to the doctor in regards to, or the local physician, in order to see about helping the angel in question. And where'd I put Zora's domain's music? There it is. There it is. Hello, friend. It might take a while to load. But yeah. So, Hikan, you are running through the evening streets of Zora's domain. If you would be so very kind, my friend, in order to roll me an investigation check with advantage, because you were pointed in the right direction to find an appropriate priest.
Oh boy. 15 either way?
Yeah, 15 is good. Eventually you find yourself stumbling into a what looks like a fairly modest looking temple. And as you enter in, several Zora wearing these kind of deep navy blue robes look over to you, and one of them kind of approaches forward and says, "Hello, can I help you at all?"
Hi. I'm sorry it's kinda late, but we just got into town, and I was wondering if you guys were willing or knew how to help heal an angel.
There's a widening of the eyes on the one you speak to, who turns to the other two, and one of the other clergymen there. This broad-shouldered sort of reef shark-looking Zora, just kind of like shrugs, like offers a hand, says, but then there's they kind of turn to this other Zora, who appears to be much shorter, and kind of adorned with some minor aspects of jewelry, and she looks at you and she smiles, and she says, "I can see what I can do about that. Yes, is the angel, you say?"
Yeah, kinda looks a bit like me in shape and stuff, with glowing eyes and like silvery skin that probably looks really nice when it's not full of holes, and
Oh, that is tragic. Okay, I shall come and aid you. I just need to get my things, of course. And she turns and calmly, at a calm pace, the kind of pace where she's very much taking her time, just walks over to a side room and enters it. And after a couple of minutes, returns with what appear to be like a small satchel bag over one shoulder, and a fairly nicely adorned staff. She says, "Okay, lead the way."
okay. And I will lead her to the inn. If she's willing to, because I don't know how high up that we are, but Hikan would totally be willing to jump off into the main pool of Zora's domain if she seemed willing to. But if not, he'll begrudgingly, or not begrudgingly, sadly, walk around.
Make a somewhat easy persuasion check.
Excellent. 7.
Okay. She kind of peers over the side. It is a fairly high distance up, but you can see quite clearly that the main lagoon in Zora's domain is very deep. She's like, why not? And without another word, just kind of hop, skip, and dives off the side into this graceful swan dive that you see a plummet towards this pool of water roughly 70 feet down.
Yeah, Hikan follows right afterwards.
Oh, but yeah. After the briefest of moments, you kind of surface and you have a look around. You can't see her immediately, but as you turn, you see this this priest kind of float towards you. Their form almost melding in with the rest of the water, and she says, "Yeah, it is nice to take a dip every once in a while. I suppose your angel friend is closer to this particular area."
Yeah, I'm bad with names, so I don't remember the name of the inn, but I do remember that it was kind of on here, on this, like, near the lagoon when we came in, so I figured it was faster that way.
You must be speaking of the snoozing river. Okay, no worries. And she kind of begins swimming back to dry land, like to the nearest ladder, and pulls herself out, and will allow you to lead her the rest of the way. Yeah. Meanwhile, so did the rest of you go straight to the inn and stay there with Artismal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like you two went to the inn, and then Renji stayed behind to give a report to the guard. And
I don't know how long that specifically would take. I had in mind that with the time it took for Hikan to find help, Renji would either just arrive or would have already arrived.
Yeah. So while Hikan was gone, after a couple of minutes, like you've probably sat Artismal down into a nice, comfy-looking chair. There is a brief moment where you speak to Meridia. Meridia takes a moment to remember who you are, but otherwise she's happy to accommodate. And after a brief moment, Renji, you reappear in the inn, and just behind you is what appears to be a kind of someone of equal height to yourself. Kind of like leaning forward, slouching a little bit. Appears to be this Zora with greenish scales and appears to have the like a facial composition similar to a catfish. And
we'll see about that.
Kind of lifts a hand to adjust his spectacles, and says, "Judging by by your attire, I can only assume that you are friends with the Shika boys that came to my office moments ago."
Well, I do not know a lot of Shika boys that are here, so I am going to assume yes. Is he speaking Common or Zoran? I was going to say
Common.
French.
Is he speaking Common or French? Yeah.
Okay, so he's speaking Common.
He's speaking Common, yeah.
Then, as I like say this, I take a slight bow. I do say bonsoir, and I say, Renji Vox at your service.
Maldesur, Dr. Loken Maldesur. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Now, he informed me that you had an angel as part of your repertoire.
I glance around to see how many people are around specifically at this moment.
It is you, the Doctor, Meridia, and two what appear to be guards who have the kind of disposition of being off duty. They're like in a back corner, just enjoying a nice simple drink and talking quietly to themselves, like between themselves. It's yeah.
I put a hand on his shoulder and walk over to Meridia. Good evening. My friends may have taken up some rooms. Zayden, Shari, and Max? There was a third person with them.
A third person.
Well, there
I
were
mean-
3 of them.
Let me have a look. And
Thank
she
you.
goes over to another part of the counter and picks up like a nice ledger, and then scours through it slowly and purposefully, before eventually tapping on the thing. It says, "I have a party of 5, which has those 2 people."
Yes,
in
it also has Renji. That's me.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Hello, good evening. Which rooms did they take?
And she kind of scans over the thing and says, "Let's see, if I remember correctly, you guys bought 3 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I know Renji bunked with Hikan, or Renji took the bed and Hikan took the floor, I think.
I definitely took a bed, yes.
Yeah, and then it would have been
Took a
Max.
water bed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I took the water bed. That was the thing.
Max was on the floor with Sidon, and Mara had her own room.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She indicates the room that, or she basically just gives you the room numbers. I like all of them.
From our previous visit, do I know if there's like a hallway between the tap room and the rooms themselves? Like secluded.
Yes, you
Okay.
would. Yeah.
Then I will smile at the Zora doctor and lead him towards the rooms. But before we get there, I do stop and I turn to him. So, if you're here after speaking with my friend, I wonder where he is right now. Why you're not with him?
I advised him to head to the more religious aspects of Zora's domain, chiefly because while I am confident in my skills as a physician, I believe it is not terribly possible for me to have operated on any kind of celestial. I wanted to come and see if I could offer my assistance, but obviously such endeavors are best handled by those of the faith, as it were.
And you saying that would, of course, push Hikan to immediately go and try and fetch a person of the cloth. I understand, yes. Very well, and I bring him to the rooms and check which one of the rooms now contains my companions and a celestial.
Let's see. Did you guys? Which room would you have?
We're probably currently in Sidon's room because that would have had a normal bed.
Yeah.
Just to,
Yeah.
put him somewhere comfortable.
That doesn't wobble.
Yeah. Okay.
Wobbling would be difficult for the whole healing thing, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably find your way to Max and Zayden's room and just give a light on the door.
Max will go answer it.
I just give a short wave. I can't sense some help physician. I'm sorry, I am not very good at remembering names the first time.
Dr. Loken Maldesar.
Dr. Maldesar is here to try and render any aid that may be possible vis-a-vis autismal, and I lead him into the room.
Thank you. And kind of he heads on over to the bed where Autismal's kind of lying. He's awake and he's kind of looking around, but it's not back in the coffin, so he's not gonna shy away from this new person, at least too much. But Dr. Maldesar kind of like puts his doctor's bag to one side and says, good evening, hello, my apologies for the interruption. I have been told that you are in dire need of medical aid, and I thought I would come and see if I could offer my help. If all you need to do is relax, I just need to have a look at some of those wounds, if that's okay. And Artismal just kind of gives a side-eye glance to all of you and then just nods. He says, excellent, very well, just relax. I shall not take too long, and I shall not be doing anything that will hurt you. And he undoes Doctor's bag and kind of takes out like a couple of clean, shining looking implements, none of which appear to have a sharp edge on them, and just kind of begins examining things with like a dedicated magnifying glass, and just kind of going over, occasionally stopping to apply a bandage. And as he begins his work, meanwhile, back outside the snoozing river, Hikan and the priestess, who has introduced herself as Sister Argris, has arrived at the snoozing river. And she looks up at the sign and smiles and says, yes, this place. This is a lovely, comfy place to come and stay. Yes. So your friend is in here?
Yes. We stayed here before, so we figured that it would be easier since it was so late. And he's in here, and I think everyone else is. They probably already have a room by now, and I will head inside, leading her in.
Okay. She'll follow you in. Meridia will wave to you as you enter. Almost begin the spiel of the welcome you to the first time being here sort of thing. But eventually stops herself as she sees the priestess and kind of sort of recognizes her, who in turn waves back. And you make your way to the rooms where everyone is kind of crammed into Zaiden's room.
Max is going to step outside so people have room to breathe.
Renji is definitely going to stay because he is a little bit worried about the amount of people we're bringing into this, and not specifically just this room.
Max is going to stand guard outside.
So as you enter in, you see the doctor that you encountered before is currently performing some basic examinations and triage on Artismal. As the priestess comes in, she kind of like stops a moment and looks over the form of the angel and says, "Oh my! I've been a priestess of Lord Jabu Jabu for many years, and while I do not doubt my own power, it has been a long time since I have encountered something as unique and almost picturesque as a celestial being. my curiosity gets the better of me, and I am sorry if this is reaching too far, but I must ask, how did you come across such a creature, and how are they so wounded?
At that, Renji will probably take her just outside of the room to kind of give her a quick but detailed summary of where we found him, kind of a bit of the ritual that he was being kept for, to like bring her into this. I don't really want to hide anything from her, especially with something this dark, but I don't want to be too graphic about it with her either.
Okay. So she kind of nods along. Her disposition very rarely changes. There's as you kind of talk to her, I'd say even if it is only a 12, your passive insight kind of gets that she's very calm, laid back, almost zen-like as she kind of takes all this in. And as you finish, she kind of nods solemnly and says, Seems even those creatures powerful and strong of the outer planes are not immune to the greed of men, but how tragic.
Indeed.
But there are things that can be done. I do not know if this one's kin are capable of healing his wounds better than we might be capable of performing. So I do not know if I have the magic capable of returning the wings to an angel, but at the very least I could attempt to send him home.
That would be a good thing, I think. He attempted to do some sort of magic or use some sort of inner power. That seemed to fail the moment he tried it. So if he were to be sent back home, I think that would definitely help him, though. Does that send him back to the point of where he came from, or how does that work?
Ordinarily, what we would do would be to essentially what I'd be attempting to do is banish him. And because his native plane is going to be on the outer planes, he would essentially be sent home to his own native realm. My only concern is whether or not he is currently able to withstand his current wounds. From what I understand, most beings from the outer realms, if they perish here, they are simply sent back and reconstitute themselves back where they came from. But if they pass away on their realm, then their passing would be permanent. You mentioned that you found him at the top of the mountain, so I cannot imagine that his wounds would be so great as to not withstand planar travel of this variety. But it is still a concern of mine. He might just need time. But
Time is something we cannot give him. If he were to be in your care for a while, or in the care of your people, then we would be very grateful.
Our charity is something that we take great pride in, but my concern is more for his capability. I do not believe we have a substantial temple to Din in this in the domain.
I don't think Din. I don't think he would. I'm not sure if influence from Din would be a good idea at this juncture.
She kind of tilts her head, says, maybe. All I can say is that I can try, but if it's there are several outcomes that we have to be prepared for.
I understand.
The first outcome is whether or not he will survive his transition. If he passes away, then all our efforts will be lost. But if we were to wait a while to ensure that he is back to his full strength, or as relative as it might be, then we will ultimately find ourselves in a position to perhaps send him back. My real concern at this juncture now is what has kept him on this plane for 6 years. All I can say is that if it takes the amount of time to heal him, to get him suitable to survive, then it could take as many years as it is him having been pulled here and trapped here. I will have to speak with the rest of the clergy, but
he was capable of speech on the mountain. I believe that is still the case. I understand wanting to convene with your fellows. I think it's best to do so and to see what Ismail himself would know of his own situation. Perhaps he has more knowledge on this than we do.
Very well. Yes, I shall speak to the rest of my gathering at the very least, and then hopefully we shall find a solution to this.
Thank you.
In the meantime, I will confer briefly with Dr. Maldesur. It would be wise to ensure that he is at least triaged appropriately. And she turns to return to the room where she would kind of sit on the opposite side of the bed from the doctor, and they quietly converse in Zoran over what to do about the predicament that is Artismal. And yeah, Mara turns to you guys and says, so, what next? Just rest for the morning, speak with the royals here, and then head back to Hyrule?
Yes, seemed that the guards did want me to deliver the reports directly to them rather than have it from word of mouth. I think going back to Castletown would be our next juncture, unless we can communicate with them from here which is something I would want to ask about at the meeting tomorrow. If there's any news, then we might need to head to a different direction instead of Castletown if there's something urgent.
Do we want Flamco to come with us? Because he could just start heading to Sarcosa now. He made it all the way here on his own. I'm sure he could make it back.
Well, that is very likely. I think that should be discussed tomorrow when we have a better idea of what we should be doing.
Okay.
Flamco, meanwhile, has just been kind of standing and staring at the whole ordeal with Artismal. There's still a part of him that's fascinated by the fact that there is a celestial that had been trapped here and had been used by mortals to steal divine power. He's as a wizard, technically, he's going through the logistics and the math in his head of how that's possible. Because it's still the case of it's like what's the word? It's like when probably as a coder, if you're staring at like a bunch of spaghetti code, where at first glance it's a complete mess and it shouldn't work, but it does, and you're frustrated at how it works and want to know why. That is
angel math.
Yeah, that is essentially what is consuming Flamgo at that point. But given a strong enough nudge, he will come away because he still needs to sort out his own room in this whole situation. So, is there anything in particular that you guys wanted to do that evening, or are you going to wait for the appropriate time to get some rest?
Nah, Hikan did what he was going to do, which is try to find help.
I think rest time is appropriate.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Goodbye, temporary hit points.
You'll get them in the morning, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So as you go to after a while, the doctor finishes his triage and with the aid of the priestess helps Artismal out of bed, and they basically say they're going to take him to one of the temples for him to be rested up. They give you exact directions so you know where to find him, and we'll just make sure that he's in a comfortable spot and appropriately hidden away. They put like the robes on because, as you probably rightly assume, an angel in the middle of Zora's domain is probably going to raise a lot of questions.
Strange.
Most domains going to raise a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Not just Zora's domain.
Yeah.
You could take them to the Rito domain and just claim they're very sickly.
That's super sickly.
This is what they look like when all their feathers have fallen out. Don't worry about it.
What about their beak, though?
The beak fell off as well. I told you, they're very sick. Get close.
It could be contagious.
Zelda bird flu.
Oh no.
Oh no. But yes. So you after they carry them away, Flamgo gets himself a basic room with a normal mattress. Because he is very tall, and he doesn't think that his height in combination with a waterbed is going to go particularly well.
So doesn't he have like bird talons?
He does have bird talons, yeah. And
That would be bad.
That would be bad, yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, he gets a normal spring mattress bed at the Snoozing River, just for the one night for now, and and all of you head to sleep for the evening.
I would like Hikan to trance outside of Artisanal's room.
Okay. Tismal's at a temple now. He's was carried away by a yeah.
Cool.
They stole him. Get him back.
You're more than welcome to go to the temple to sleep outside his room at the temple if you want.
Yeah, actually, Hikan will do that just to make sure that he's at least one somewhat familiar face is nearby, one that's been actively helping him this entire time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
As you sleep, or as you get some rest, Renji.
Yes.
You blink once or twice as you sleep/trance, and after a while, the black and white sort of grey scale, dark vision aspect of your room is replaced by that soft amber glow, and all the different bits of furniture seem to be effectively slowly smoldering with these black pixels. And as you kind of like look around your room, by the door you don't see a distinct shape, but it's like there's a shadow that's placed over it. Like even though it's closed, there is someone standing in the doorway. And the unfortunately familiar voice creeps back into your mind and rattles your bones. And
Renji.
Harvester.
What happened?
Well, you could hear what happened, I suspect.
I thought you wanted out of this contract, Renji. Changed your mind.
Don't worry, I haven't. It's just there are more important things.
Oh, really? That's a new tone from you. Someone who only cared about their own freedom. Thinking of others, that's a step in the... It's a direction.
Also, in the meantime, Renji will not have, sat upright. He's just still lying in bed.
The terms.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But as he hears the harvester speak about this, he does eventually get up and actually stand up to face the figure in the doorway.
Yeah. He says,
The terms have not changed until you provide me with something substantial. I will not inform you how to terminate our agreement.
So the two individuals, the rogue paladin, the mage, they were what?
Oh, they were mere flesh, mere mortal flesh. As impressive as it is that you have taken that plunge, it is still mortal, fragile. I was hoping that perhaps you might provide me with something substantial, powerful. Tundra-Nex was something that I was greatly excited for. But if that is not what you wish to perform, not what you wish to do, then you will have to find an alternative.
I guess I'll have to then.
I would provide you with a suggestion, but the last one I provided didn't seem to swing with you, so I shall simply not bother this time.
All right then. Well, sleep tight. And Renji is trying to, like, keep his cool, and block his. He doesn't know how much the Harvester can tell from his thoughts, so he's just trying to keep his cool and keep composed to try and elicit a response.
See, this is when he one-ups you by singing you a bedtime lullaby.
Maybe.
Would you like a story?
What kind of stories would you tell?
Perhaps you would like to know how I have gotten myself into this predicament. How perhaps our own little origin stories are not too dissimilar.
Well, if you really want to tell me.
Several centuries ago, when this kingdom was far more prosperous, myself and several of my companions, who once shared the same flesh and bloodline that you have now, decided that our own lot in life was not to be taken anymore. It was not satisfactory. And we knew that the royal family, as divine as their blood might be, held power quite significant. But it was not being put to the right uses. So we decided to try and take it. Unlike the remainder of my companions, however, I was prepared for such an eventuality. Which is how we now know each other. Unlike most of my other Twilight, I am one of the few, the only, with a substantial connection back to the world of light. And I must say, I am disappointed with what I have found these many hundreds of years later. How nothing has changed. How I sit and wait in my prison and watch as my kin have simply continued to be pushed around.
Oh! And Renji is just like rubbing his temples and. Oh, wow. Really?
Mm.
Have you not changed a single speck since you found yourself where you are?
I have changed as much as the world of light has.
Really?
Yes. In fact,
Because it sounds like the moment that you turn your back on your kin, just as I did, you have not changed a single iota. Whereas I've realized that while we are very similar from where we started out from, you're still a spoiled little brat. And I turn my back.
And you, if you do not act soon, will be stuck with me forever. For if I am as spoiled as you say, then I'll be petty enough to ensure that you will not have an escape from this world, even through death. I will always be there.
And whilst I have my back turned, the grin that I had on my face slowly falters. But my back stays straight.
And you don't have the privilege of being my only agent in this world. But do not forget who gave you the scar on your left cheek, who took the life of your dear king.
That actually does get a response as I kind of tilt my body away from the blade that got me that scar. At least I know more. And it didn't cost me anything. So thank you.
Perhaps we shall have another one of these chats. Hopefully after you give me something a bit more exciting. I'll be waiting, Renji. And the amber tint to your room disappears in a blink. The shadow over your door is no longer there, and you didn't wake up with such a start this time, but still haven't gotten the full amount of sleep that you would have wanted. Perhaps.
Am I in bed or am I next to it?
You are next to it.
Okay. Just let out a deep sigh.
Okay, what you need to do now is send him some more puddles.
I think I have to, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let's have a look at people's passive perceptions here.
I have 18.
You have 18. Hikan is not there, and Renji has just had a night chat with his patron. So let's see.
Oh, that is mean.
We're all pretty perceptive.
Both Max and Zayden, you overhear in the next room, a door open and close. Like you hear Mara's door open and close.
I also have passive perception of 18.
Yeah, but you've been having a chat with your patron. They've
Um,
consumed your attention for the evening.
That probably
Fair
startled.
enough.
That probably startled Max out of one of his usual nightmares, so he's grabbed his staff and is pointing at the door.
Your door has not moved. You heard Mara's door next door open and close.
So I don't know.
Still half asleep. Max is like, what was that noise?
Mara's door. Shall we see if she's having trouble sleeping?
Fine, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get up and go see if she's outside somewhere.
You follow outside, and you watch her as she kind of wanders down the road toward the dock. And eventually she just picks a place on the dock and sits down and just looks out over the waters.
I think she did that when we first came here as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she went around and had a little look around herself for a bit before she returned to speaking with you guys. But
So
yeah.
look to Max. Should we say hello or leave her to it?
Having no idea what to do, Max just kind of shrugs. I don't know how to people.
We'll take the social path and we'll walk over and quietly sit down next to her.
Oh, good evening.
Hard night?
I guess a little bit.
Find it calming out here?
A little, yeah.
That's good.
It's oh, I think it's this one. That's the one. Yeah. She kind of just nods a little as she kind of looks over the water. This pristine, almost like lightly waving water that is that just kind of goes on for a fair distance all the way onto the other side of the lagoon. And because it's so late in the evening, there's hardly anybody around. Maybe a couple of guards just wandering around on their patrols. She simply says, "You know, it's been weird. I was not expecting things to have gone the way they have. I just don't know how it is that anyone could cope with that. Like, I mean, I spent most of my time in the library, and before that, it was just a series of small, quiet, out of the way little positions that I had honestly never thought in that time of doing anything other than that. And then this happens. And when I came here with you guys, saw this nice big open expanse of water. It reminded me a little bit of Lake Hylia. Have you been there before?
One point, yeah.
It's nice there. It's almost like just another sea, this massive, calm, picturesque place. On a morning, you could just sit and watch the mist kind of retreat from the shoreline back out onto the water. I don't know. It's just like a nice place to recalibrate your equilibrium, I guess. Did any of you ever think that something like this was going to happen? I mean, I read your reports and things from your time working with Simeon, and I mean, I know what happened with the apples that I asked you to get with the Hinox and stuff, but have you ever considered anything like this would ever happen?
Not specifically, no. No.
Hmm. I hope I'm not holding you guys back too much. I mean,
You've helped out plenty.
yeah, but I've just got my book and my hammer and some potions, and that's about it. But you guys, you can do so much. Just promise me that if I am getting in the way or anything, you'll let me know. I mean, I still want to help, but I don't want to be too much of a burden.
Of course. We'd let you know if it was trouble.
Thank you.
Max finally joins in the conversation from behind and just says, "If it weren't for your potions, we'd have died on the side of the mountain. Against those big ice monsters."
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad you're all okay. I am. It's a bit tough, I guess. I spent so much of my time, largely by myself that I honestly hadn't been so social. And then I meet these wonderful people who just, regardless of anything, are so dedicated to their task of being good people. And I don't know, it's a new situation for me, but I'm glad that I've been able to experience all this, you know? It's been really nice. And I'm sorry if I worried you coming out here. I just wanted to spend a little time staring out over this place, just giving it one last glance, because, well, in the morning after we give our report, we're probably going to have to go all the way back to Hyrule as soon as possible. So I just wanted to have another last little glance before that happened, because depending on what happens here, we might not have another chance to come back.
Max is
Hope to come back.
gonna give her words a bit of thought and then just sit down next to her and look out over the water.
Yeah. Unless specific terms of conversation are brought up, she will.
Well,
happily...
one of them will be Max saying, "So do you just sit here?" I mean, I've never done this before.
Well, it's just.
Sidon is already halfway back into a trance.
The old man's having a nap.
Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, you just kind of enjoy the surroundings, you know? You just listen to the waves and the fact that it's so quiet and non-moving. It looks almost like a picture, almost. It's just a nice little environment to be in, just to calm down a little bit, recenter yourself, and just think.
Calm down. Nice is going to give that a try.
Hooray. Yeah. So as you kind of sit and ponder and enjoy the surroundings, after about like a couple of hours have passed, Mara just kind of nods to herself and says, okay, should probably get back and get some sleep before we have to get up in the morning. But it's been nice. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Yeah. And she pushes herself on her feet, and will she'll hang out for as long as for as long as you guys want to stay around as well, and then follow you guys back to the snoozing river to then try and get some more sleep again.
We'll probably get up to leave when she gets up.
Decided we'll follow the crowd.
Okay. You guys return to the snoozing river, and the rest of the morning, or the rest of the night, more or less goes off without any problems whatsoever. You all get despite Renji's intrusion and the various outings of various people, you all get a full long rest. It's otherwise pleasant. Getting up in the morning, I'm guessing that you've all given Meridia your breakfast orders. And she does come back with the appropriate fish and other materials to provide you with your food. As you exit your rooms and head into the main area, there is a new person there, holding like a rod underneath his arm, kind of the military fashion, dressed in this finery, is a tall, rail thin, kind of androgynous looking Zora, with the features of like a marlin. They look at you and kind of tilt their head to one side and says, hello. I take it that you are the individuals who need to be speaking with the king, or at least a representative of the king, regarding the recent expedition to Snowhead, yes?
I will look a little bit surprised at this, as I
Snap.
as I thought that it was a singular task. But I nod, I bow. Renji Vox, at your service. I was under the impression that the rest of my party did not need be concerned with this. And as such,
it would be wise to include them, but do not fret. We will not be going anywhere. As at this current juncture, King Zora the 16th is unable to partake in any meetings of such a thing. However, I am here in order to take down this information and prepare for diplomatic duties as much as possible. My name is Marcus Swift Silver, and I will be hoping to take down your account from your time on Snowhead, if possible, in order to ensure that everything is okay, so that there are continued strong relations between the royal Hylian family and the royal Zoran family, so to speak.
I see. I understand. It's just that one of our companions is currently making sure that someone we found upon the mountain is in good condition, and as he is requiring medical aid, he's being tended to by others.
I see. If that is the case, then we shall wait. And he immediately goes to a table and sits down. Meanwhile, Hikan, you had a nice full night's rest, and you woke up within the temple probably a lot earlier than the others, but I'm guessing remained on guard for as long as you needed to.
Yes, I'd also take a look through some things, kind of gather some stuff together, see if they've got things, and I would kind of, especially since I'm up before everyone, kind of see if I can do something that's more slowly and be able to be made for breakfast for the clergy as a thank you for watching and coming to help us on very short notice.
Yeah, that's cool. In that process, you managed to get yourself some a decent amount of food. Actually, I think, is it a roll that you need to make with your chef's thing?
Where'd I put it? There it is. As part of a short rest, I can do 4 plus my proficiency bonus to do pretty much Song of Rest. With an hour of work, or when you finish a long rest, you can. It's mostly to make the treats, which today are kind of more akin to cookies kind of thing, like packs of cookies for people. That's 3 of those. But no, it doesn't necessarily. And in order to make it, if you want me to roll for quality, we can. But for the treats, it's not. The treats are made either way.
Nah, it's fine. You're not under any pressure, so there's no need to have you roll. Like, it's not a competition sort of thing. It's literally you doing a thank you gift, which is you don't need to roll for that. You spend the appropriate amount of time making this morning meal for the members of Lord Jabba Jabu's faithful clergy, and eventually, as the morning develops, Sister Agris will come back to you and say, good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm fine. Did everybody rest okay? Or did you rest okay at least?
Yes, I believe we have. We've gone in to check on your friends. They are resting well. We have had a brief discussion with the remaining members of the clergy, and we believe we can accommodate your friend Artismal, I think. We can accommodate them for as long as it is needed for them to be sent back. But we are still considering at least sending some kind of missive to the Church of Din in Hyrule, just for the sake of clarity and aid. I understand that it is a bit of a touchy subject in regards to how you found him, but it is. I feel like it is for the best to ensure that they are properly cared for.
Did you want me to take it? I think we're going to Castletown after we're finished here today.
That would be very helpful. Yes, please.
Cool. I'll see if I can find Mr. Larson Graves. If not, I think I remember where the temple is.
Thank you very much. In the meantime, we shall continue to take care of them. I shall write you a letter to take to Hyrule Castletown in a bit of a moment. In the meantime, feel free to do what you need to do. If you want to return to your companions, you can. If you need to, if there are any other preparations that you need, we shall do our best to help you in that regard. But for now, I shall
provide you a letter in a moment.
Okay. And don't forget to have some breakfast, as like Hikan kind of just points towards the general direction where you got it set up.
Oh, it looks delicious. Thank you. This I shall begin feasting immediately. Thank you. And she'll calmly go over to the food that you have provided and begin to take bits and pieces of food in order to eat it while she prepares a letter for you to take to the Temple of Din in Hyrule Castletown.
Okay. Before Hikan leaves, Hikan, we could do this brief kind of thing, would like to verify with Artismal that they've talked with him about the plan, and if he's okay with that.
Yeah. From the outset, it looks like Artismal is okay with the plan. He believes that there's an aspect about him where because he is a celestial and the whole he is a being made up of physical thought and emotion and faith. There's an aspect about him where he believes that there is probably some good Din worshippers out there still, and would very much like to like it if there would be someone from that line of faith pushing him in that direction. So he is okay with the plan.
Okay. Then I will bring him a plate of food. I will probably have spent some time talking about Larson Graves, because he's really the only other worshipper of Din that I know. And then I wish him well before going and jumping in the lagoon again and meeting my friends downstairs.
Okay. So after some time, the rest of you see a slightly damp-looking Hikan reappear in the Snoozing River, and Hikan, you see this other Zora, this Zora with Marlin features and being very tall and thin, wearing finery. They look over and they say, "Well, I suppose that this is your other companion, unless this is a very unique coincidence, no?"
No, this is indeed our companion Hikan Sio. Hikan, this is Marcus Swift Silver, an emissary of the royal family of Zora's Domain.
That's a good thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hikan waves very kindly.
Marka kind of tilts their head forward, says, "So, if everyone is here, shall we begin the discussions?"
I think we shall. I just had one question. You say you are in the capacity of liaising between the royal family and us. May I ask what your specific role in this is?
I am a diplomat, sir. I am essentially, I am here to gain all the facts, and then when we have a plan of action, I shall be taking a retinue to the Hylian capital, and to be discussing with the royal family or of their own representatives in regards to the matter. After all, it is a unfortunate and unique circumstance that one of their nobles had perished near our own territory, no?
Yes, it does seem that way, but let us not jump to conclusions before all details have been discussed. And I will basically give... Do I know specifically how the diplomatic relations between Zora's Domain and Hyrule are?
Given your background, I think you would, yeah. I don't think there's a specifically well-spoken alliance between the two, but it's not like they hate each other. Hyrule and Zora, the Kingdom of Hyrule and the domain of the Zora are on friendly terms. It's just that they haven't made a defense pact or anything like that. They just speak to each other. Yeah.
And Snowhead Mountain isn't part of Zora's Domain's territory, correct?
Not
Or is it?
particularly. It's just that the safest entrance to the Snowhead Mountain range is through Zora's Domain.
Right. So while Lord Grastel would have probably had some talks to be able to send a lot of stuff through, he wouldn't have the permission to stay there from Zora's Domain.
No.
Okay, good.
Essentially, the way Marka kind of explains it, they say that they effectively say that the biggest concern at this point is the fact that if it is true that Lord Grastel is a unabashed traitor, which, as far as you could find, he is or was,
and we do have proof, and I am willing to, if he is, this guy's a diplomat, he will probably be informed that we have brought an angel down into the clergy, into the clergy's aid, unless they are not speaking to their own people. Which
I think at this junction, you guys turned up in the evening, and then so what they might have at this point in time until further notice is that they have the information that you provided that guard when you first rolled in, because they sent the runner to go to speak to the royal family, who then would say, go speak with them in the morning. They're still in town. So yeah, but as said, their biggest concern, or their biggest diplomatic concern right now, is whether or not the people of Hyrule will turn around to say, hang on a tick, this guy was a traitor and these guys were letting them trade stuff, and that stuff could be illegal contraband. What gives? And while at the outset Zora's Domain was not aware of it in their own way, it's also a case of there are stupid people. There are stupid reactionary people who will draw conclusions from nowhere. So they're taking their time to make sure that they get this right.
Right, and I am definitely of the opinion, and I'm reasonably certain everyone else in the party is, that we do not want that to get out in the open. So
I don't want this episode to be called "The Gang Causes an International Incident."
Yeah, I don't either. I will go into reasonable detail about why we're there, specifically to apprehend Flamgo, because that was the original idea, and that we have successfully done so, and that we are taking him out of Zora's Domain as well. And then I will also mention that in the course of that, we were betrayed, escaped a dragon, confronted everyone in the mansion, and literally offered to have them surrender, but they didn't do that. And we found we found a captive.
Yeah.
And that we brought him back down for medical aid to Zora's Domain.
Okay. Yeah, they will. Marka will write all this down, and they will occasionally stop and question you on different aspects of it, just getting all the details, getting all the elaboration that they need. And after going through all that, they kind of turn to the other members of the party just to clarify whether or not this was the actual case. Just kind of just doing the usual thing. It does feel for the most part that they are giving you the third degree, but otherwise, otherwise they don't spend too much time dwelling on so many things. They don't
at some point during this, Max does get bored and ask Hikan why he's damp.
So the temple to Lord Jabu Jabu is like Hikan's whispering as they're kind of taking a look outside. Is like up there, and it's a lot faster to jump.
All the way down?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You want to try it?
Maybe.
I'm not particularly looking forward to that.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Until Hikan gets his... Yeah, no. Hikan, until he is addressed directly, is not paying attention to the questions.
Okay.
Or
Neither is Max, really. He's not thinking about swan diving off the city. And what that would be like.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. After a brief amount of time, there is Marka kind of just looks over their notes, like this pile of parchment that they've made notes for, and kind of stacks it all together and says, "Right. Well, that is. I think that is everything. I hope
will he have made copies of the documents that we have shown? Because we have proof that he was a traitor. Specifically, the dealings on both sides of the Civil War. And even if he only dealt on one side, then tricky. But I would have shown it to him, and if he were to want to make notes and copies, then it would be possible. I'm just not sure how long he would need for that.
Is there a spell to magically copy things on paper?
Most likely there is, or it's
if there's not, someone
homebrewed by some wizard here.
If there's not, someone invent it, please.
Yeah.
It seems like a thing that should exist.
Yeah.
If there isn't, something that was relatively creative was a wizard in one of my parties would use Mage Hand and command their Mage Hand to write it down as a ledger main.
That's cool.
While they were taking notes, kind of thing. And it was like, you know what? You're going to get bonuses for that. Good job.
That is really clever. That is very clever.
Nice.
But yeah. So as you're discussing this and making copies, your conversations are interrupted there is a colossal explosion coming from one area in Zora's domain. This big fiery explosion, and you can hear in the distance people screaming or chatting to, or hurriedly talking to each other. It doesn't appear to be terribly near you guys.
I'm already at a window looking for where it came from.
It appears that somewhere along the line of the dock, there is now this big column of smoke that is rising into the air. And you can see other civilians around, just kind of looking in that general direction.
I look to Marcus, and I'm getting my stuff ready. Do we have your leave to investigate, sir?
Absolutely. I will not stop you.
Then Renji is out the door.
Okay.
I follow.
I'll follow.
I've got permission to go. I sprint.
Hikan gets there first.
Okay. You hurry down to the main line of the dock. You go through all the different pathways around the kind of rocky corridors and stuff that evoke everything in in Zora's domain. And as you begin getting to one of the corners, you see somebody bolting past, like just across the street from you, a fair distance away. They appear to be Hylian, and they're wearing red-colored ragged robes.
Do they look like they're running away from someone, or they're running away from having done something?
The answer you get is shortly behind them is a squad of guards. And I will
Giving chase.
yeah, I'll put you onto the battle map, and we shall roll for initiative.
Okay. During the conversation, Hikan would have given you guys the cookies. You can take them as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 17.
Okay. And the commoners I'll have go last. Okay. So, first on the docket, Hikan.
Cool. So Hikan, being a monk and having a foot speed of 50 feet, is going to like dance like behind the guard or behind them, and not knowing exactly what's going on and not knowing if this person needs to be beat up, is going to try to grapple this individual, like grab his cloak and pull him in.
Okay. So make your athletics versus this guy's acrobatics, I guess, because that's the better of the two stats.
Yeah. That's an 18. It's not bad.
There you get a 16.
Yes, good.
You run over and grab them. You have like, I'm guessing you're not going to use your other attack to strike them or anything?
So it's not unless they try to fight you.
I am going to pull out and push the javelin, like kind of like pull him up, have the javelin back at one hand, and then like poking at his back kind of thing.
Okay.
But I am not going to attack, no.
The first thing you notice when you grab him is he turns around and glares at you, and you see before you the spitting image of Max snarling at you with this fiery look of rage and uncontrolled contempt in his eyes.
It's me again.
And on his turn, he's going to... basically what he's going to do is he's going to... he's going to roar at you. He's basically going to turn himself around. He's going to roar at you and cause fear. I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please. And so will all of the guards.
That is a 16. I don't think that passes.
If you were rolling against me, you'd pass.
It's good to know.
Yeah, it passes well because it's a meat sort of thing when it comes to it.
You're not as scary as Blue Max.
Apparently not. This guard's doing alright.
Let's see. And then the other guard who might be affected by it, they all pass. Wow. Maxwell is not doing great.
Oh god, his name's Maxwell as well?
Yeah.
Mine isn't, so...
Maxwell, Maximilian, and Maximus.
No, it's just Max.
Okay.
Is it Max? Well...
So what he's going to do instead is I'm going to say he used sorcery points to cast that as a bonus action, and he's going to swipe at you with his claws. 18 for 7.
Hikan just like as he swings, Hikan just moves the javelin and just kind of twists it around and pins his arm against his side, because my armor class is 20. So it's no.
Okay. Renji.
Excellent. Renji is going to move. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moving over here, and then moving over here. With this like sudden confusion that he sees the face of his companion, he realizes, oh well, this isn't new.
You didn't see the other.
Yeah,
no,
didn't see.
you mentioned it, right?
Yeah, I did mention it, but you didn't see him.
Yeah. So first confusion, then oh wait, and he is going to, let's see. I think he's just going to attack twice, as usual. That's a 17 to hit.
Okay. That is a hit.
Oh wait, I should roll with super advantage. I keep forgetting. So that would normally be a hit, but still, yeah, that would have been a hit on the first attack. I do my sneak attack damage on this one, so it's 18 points of damage for this one attack.
Okay.
And then my second attack is a 24 for 7 points of damage.
Okay. All right. Sweet.
I will have my shield in the other hand for now.
Okay. All right. Then it's the guards' turns. They will pass, so they're going to they're not going to attack them. Despite their tokens, they are all Zora. They're just going to rush over with their tridents and effectively try and help dogpile this guy, in order to keep him from running away. So,
oh no, now I'm less effective.
That guy's going to dash. That guy's going to dash. There we go. Zayden.
Can I see anything else around to worry about?
Not right now. There's still a fire going on, but you glancing down that way on the street, you can see that there is a platoon of guards already in the process of trying to take care of that.
I'll come down to say here-ish, and then I shall target him to add to his troubles. With whole person.
Okay.
DC 16.
Charisma save, right?
Wisdom.
Oh, wisdom. Okay. 9.
He is paralyzed.
He is paralyzed.
And that's my turn.
Okay. All right. Miax.
Well, if I cast Fear, it's going to hit everybody. So, and it doesn't say it doesn't say you can select the creatures. It says each creature. So I can't just say only him gets it. And I can't see his face from here, probably, because there's a bunch of people in the way.
Yeah.
Hikan thing, they are not as scary as Blue Max when it was casted on me. That was in character.
You might not have been listening, I don't know.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna remove Mara and Flamgo from the map because it'll not only did I forget to roll initiative for them, but I think Mara especially would have just stayed back at the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to not act.
Okay.
Because it looks like they've got this.
All right. Okay. If that's the case, Hikan. You have
Why?
a paralyzed man in your hands.
I have a paralyzed man who looks like my good dear friend Max.
Mm.
So, what you gonna do?
I'm trying to figure out how Hikan would react to this because, like, this guy's not moving. If he's not moving, and like he's supposed to be apprehended, as Hikan has learned. Yeah, and this is kind of where things are at. I don't think Hikan has rope or manacles.
If you've got an explorer's pack, you have rope.
I don't think I took an explorer's pack.
Okay.
He's wearing robes, right?
Yeah, it's
Does he have like? And this is a weird question, but stick with me. Does he have pants?
yeah.
Okay. Hikan activates the immovable rod within this person's pants. So,
Okay.
and then he's like, Max? Because I don't think Hikan was there when you talked about White Max.
He might have been, I don't remember a while ago.
Because I was doing the stuff with Lady
Yeah,
Risha.
You had gone outside.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think you talked about it when we were being... You talked about it after that at some point.
Max, was the other one of you white or red?
What?
And that's your turn.
On his turn, he's going to attempt a wisdom save in order to get out of hold person. He gets a 20.
Hooray!
He's no longer paralyzed. And still struggling against his bonds. That is the end of his turn, because he needs to recover from that.
End his turn to make the roll.
Yeah. Renji.
Do I wail on him, or
Do you have rope?
I
Or
do
preferably a gag if he's a
not.
cast.
I do not have rope.
Max has the fish, so I can't use that again.
Incredibly useful fish.
Yeah, I'm looking at my stuff, and there's not really anything that. Can I try and use my like cold weather parka to pull over him and try and hold him? But I lack the strength to like pull this off.
You can attempt to. Yeah. It might just mean that he gets out fairly easy if he uses his action to do it.
Then I'm going to try and see if I can. I'm going to try and see if I can drain him. Drain his hit points, and I'm going to use Vampiric Touch.
Okay.
That is a 26 to hit.
That's a hit.
That's a crit.
No, that's not a crit. Just an 18. And I don't have Hexblade's Curse on him because I'm silly.
So he takes 14 damage.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Grand. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I'm going to stay there and I can't ready a bonus action, can I?
No, sadly.
No. Okay, then that's that.
Especially since that you've already acted on your turn. The guards will. This guard will get over here in order to fully surround this guy. They do have like sets of manacles and stuff ready to go. That'll be their turn. They'll just kind of try and keep them in check. Zayden.
Is he tied up now?
Yeah, I think he's. Although they have to, I think the guards would have to actually make some kind of roll to put it. Now that he's no longer paralyzed,
He is
they'd have to make
grappled,
some
so I
kind
guess he'd still have disadvantage.
he's grappled, yeah. But he's still like, with the grapple conditions, basically Hikan has a hold of him, and he's got like the immovable rod in his trousers to stop him from actually going anywhere too fast. But he's still flailing around and slashing at people. So it's still difficult.
Technically, his and my speed are 0. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be difficult. I'm gonna do this again.
Okay.
See if it works or not.
Wisdom save. Another 9. Jesus Christ.
Paralyzed people can't speak, and I was going to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll calm down when he sees you, or at least be more curious.
I didn't.
You're right.
Go the other way. There's gonna be even more screaming.
He will go super Maxwell and will be even more angry.
Although I could telepathy him once we gag him.
Step a bit closer so I can
Yeah.
try and make eye contact. And ask in Draconic, who are you?
Yeah, he will. He may respond when he can move again. But yeah. Let's see what else is happening here. Behind you guys,
Ooh.
you can hear the sound of hoofs, of hoof on cobbled stone. And as you turn to regard, you see riding atop this armored horse appears to be this fully decked out in like obsidian plate mail Lizzlefoss, like holding a battle standard that you can't see it properly at the moment. It's kind of blowing in the opposite direction. He stops briefly and kind of hops off the horse. And as he appears on the battlefield, he's going to hold out a hand, and he's going to cast a spell on the fiery red Max, and the rest of you who kind of have this have got him in a hold see this kind of smoky purple halo just kind of manifest around Maxwell's or around this guy's head. I'm just gonna roll to see how he does. Even with physical dice, he doesn't roll wisdom saves well.
Oh no.
Is it a certain crown?
It's not an iron crown. It's just this kind of ring of purple smoke that kind of appears around his head. But you won't be able to see any further things about him until he eventually manages to break out of the hold. But this Lizzlefoss kind of like has a hand up and says, "I believe I have him sedated. If you would be so kind as to try and fully, what's the word? I can't think. That's it. Fully restrain him, please." And that will be his turn. Hikan.
I'd like to roll insight on the newcomer to see if this guy is trustworthy. Like, is he giving malice? Not many people ride up in black horses or on full plate armor to just save the day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can't tell It's like he doesn't appear to have any kind of malice of forethought about him. He doesn't appear to be standing in a sense that he intends to do any of you harm or any more harm than needs to be done to this guy. But there is a kind of very tired, to the point aspect about him. I have done my part to try and do my best to help out here. Could you just please tie him up?
Arthur Crostal was sitting there telling us about interesting stories and shit until he decided to blind all of us and beat the hell out of us. But, okay. I will take one of the manacles from the guards and I will manacle this Red Max, Nega Max, if you would, and manacle him, and then like I'll think about it. I'll grab another pair of manacles and manacle his ankles. And... Okay.
I think we should call this Red Max Rex.
Well, he's Maxwell, but we don't know that yet.
That can still be changed.
Okay. On his turn, he ends his turn and needs to make a wisdom saving throw against being held. And if he fails this one, I'll just call an end to the combat, because I think even at this point, there is nothing that he could possibly do. He fails. Combat is over.
Hey, we didn't kill anybody. Good job, team.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, after time is up, like over the course of the next few moments, a coordinated effort between the guards puts a gag on him, and make sure that his arms and legs are properly tied up. The little Foss would say might be a good idea if he's a spellcaster to blindfold him as well, but otherwise we'll just let them go about their work.
Does the little Foss seem interested at getting at Red Max?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
I got it 27.
I'm going to roll normally for this, because that's... Well, that's me. 6.
Zayden, with your 27, you don't believe him to be after Max or the new Max in any capacity. He keeps his distance. He keeps an eye on him, but otherwise he doesn't make a move to try and grab him.
My attention is fully on Red Guy.
Yeah.
Suppose I would introduce myself to the Lizzle Boss, Zayden, and ask who he might be.
He simply says, I have abandoned my name some time ago. By standard, by title, I am simply known as the Arbiter. And as if on dramatic cue, the wind settles to allow his battle standard to fall into full view, and you can see on a field of black and purple a symbol of a hand with an eye in the center of the palm. And that is where we will end the session for tonight.
Combat was over.
Thank you very much for watching or listening to us today. My name is Articulate T, and this has been Hyrule Chronicles: A Legend of Zelda Campaign, episode 59.
Got it in one.
Yep, got it in one. And as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by the Netherlad.
Bonne nuit.
I have had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Bye-bye.
I have had Zayden Shari being played by RoboPirate.
Bye-bye.
And I have had Max being played by Kishtrith.
I have so many questions for myself.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Hyrule Chronicles, a tale of high adventure set in the world of Zelda, played using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you want to see more of us, then you can find us on SoundCloud. The whole list of episodes ever made is on there, under the channel of Articulate T. If you want to see the recordings on YouTube, you can also find it under the YouTube channel of Articulate T. And if you wanted to see us play live, you can do so on Twitch, on the channel of Articulate T, at the time of 7:30 GMT every other Monday. And I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care.